Hi and welcome back to LeWeb live in Paris for our fourth and final hangout of the day. And for this, I'm joined by Thierry Petit, who's the co-founder of showroomprivé.com, formed in 2006. It's one of the European leaders in online retail. Joining us again in the hangout, it's Michelle from Tallahassee, Florida.
Thank you so
Cold
much.
Tallahassee, Florida, I'm told.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, today.
Now, Thierry, the online retail sector has boomed since 2006 and the creation of Showroom Privé. How has your clientele evolved? Has it changed in those years?
Yeah, probably the most disrupting aspect of our business is the mobile disruption. 3 years ago, 4 years ago, mobile account for less than 10% of our traffic, and I mean less than 5% of our sales. And now in November, we did more than 50% of our sales and more than 55% of our traffic. So, which is away some huge growth and something really interesting that creates a lot of perturbation in our business in retail, because at the end of the day, it's you have the possibility now to have internet in the shop. So I think that there is much more mix now between the offline and online business, and thanks to mobile, rules have changed a little bit. Yeah.
Now we see in Europe that it's the United Kingdom that really leads in online retail, and in the United States it's a lot bigger than in Europe as a whole. Is there any reason why one country is more into its online buying and than others?
Yeah, I think it's the maturity of the business, and in the UK or either in the Nordic country in Europe, consumer shop online for more than 15 years, probably 16 years ago, and it was at the beginning the mortar industry, the retailer, classic retailer that created the game there, and the consumer wanted more service. If you look on the other side, emerging country or south of Europe or Asia or Latam like Brazil, what you can see is the pure player win the game due to the fact that the consumer comes on e-commerce through a price proposition, and this is funny to look at that. In French, it's totally in the middle, like in the geography, meaning that 5 years ago the pure player were winning the game, and then it's changing a little bit due to the fact that big pure players like Carrefour, Decathlon are putting a lot of money, and thanks to their brand and their shops, I mean they are quite strong now, and it's interesting to see the market evolution between with this explanation of the first purchase online, and probably the reason why the UK is very well penetrated in terms of e-commerce is due to the retailer, the real retailer. We put a lot of effort and energy since the year 2000.
We're going to go to Michelle. Michelle, do you buy online?
I do. I do buy online. I've bought online more and more over the past few years. When you say 2006, I'm like, where was I in 2006 when it came to shopping online? And so it's cool to be able to talk with someone who was really kind of like a pioneer of sorts in this effort. I was interested in what you would have to say about the emergence of like the more independent online shops, like through Instagram and different platforms like that. How do you move in the now as it relates to retail? How are things restructuring for you, if at all?
Oh, yeah. The social aspect of our business is really important due to the fact that our consumer loves to share their good ideas to shop at a better price. So it's in our DNA. And social network like Instagram or Pinterest or the other one are perfectly fit with our business, because like it's funny to see that when someone buys like a OPI at a very good price, they are putting a picture on the Instagram, and then a lot of people are putting some comments. So it's really interesting to see that, even if it's not so easy to do business with this social network, it's much more to create brand preference and brand engagement that will help us in our business, but in a much more long-term vision.
I think in the UK in the last couple of years, adverts that have been launched on social networks from the likes of Marks and Spencers and Selfridges have really driven the online, and it's almost like people in Britain now look forward to the launch of the advert, which is kind of like in the US when it's Super Bowl time and people enjoy the adverts, and that wasn't the case in the UK 15 years ago, certainly. Now, the growth in showroom privé between 2012 and 2013, it grew, and you'll tell me if I'm wrong, but by 40%, is that right, in terms of revenue?
It's between 2012 and 2013, 70%. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Do you expect that? I mean, obviously, it's still going to grow this year, but will it grow at such a rate?
No, we'll do, I mean, at very good rates, at 40% of rates, and we will achieve €500 million of sale in euro this year in Europe. And it's a big growth, but we have worked a lot in order to attract more brands to our consumer, and our business consists in, we have a mission to help digital mom to discover some interesting brand at great price in an entertainment format, while partnering with brand in order to provide them a quality channel to sell overstock. So what we can see here is that, so we act as a platform that connects brand and consumer. Brands need more and more volume to sell overstock, and consumer needs, a good deal, every time a good deal. And if we can provide to them a brand, very famous brand at a good promotion, it's like something that interests them. So as we work on the both side of our business, putting more brands, that's why Europe is really important in our business, due to the fact that probably between Italy, Spain and France, you have, let's say, 80% of the most desirable fashion brand in the world. So that's why it was important to be there and strong there to develop our business. And I think our growth is due to these two aspects of this business.
Just before I throw the mic back to Michel, I wanted to ask you about Bitcoin. Now, you've said that within the next few years, you would expect between 5 and 10% of payments to be made to showroom privé to be made by Bitcoin. Are people ready to trust Bitcoin? Yeah,
it's a funny thing, Bitcoins. I mean, we were the first one, the biggest player in Europe to implement Bitcoin. It's not only to sell drugs. No, I'm joking. But it's much more to do something that we've got a strong IT DNA in our blood, and we try to, as a challenger, because we are still a challenger, we try to create new things, and especially in terms of innovation. And when I see some player in the US like Overstock, Expedia, Dell, or PayPal, who is working on the Bitcoin implementation, I think that if one of the biggest actors accept the Bitcoin, like PayPal, for example, it will help the industry to develop. And then I don't want to be the last one, and I want to know how does it work, and it helped me for sure to create a buzz, but not only, it created me to attract new consumer. And in addition to that, it was a good game with my IT team. You know that it's really important to keep our IT team with a lot of motivation. It was a great game for them to implement Bitcoin. And so it's funny to see that we have more than 500 buyers already in Bitcoin. It's small compared to the 1 million transaction amounts, but it's something interesting.
Is it something you're actively trying to encourage?
Yeah, the Bitcoin industry is interesting. When you look all the payment method, and if you look, for example, the Apple Pay, at the end of the day, Apple will put a commission on the bank, who put a commission on the Visa, who put a commission on the consumer. So it means that you will, for a website like us, it will be a huge commission. The Bitcoin is interesting due to the fact the commission is very low, not a lot of intermediaries, and it it seems interesting in our business. You know, in e-commerce, the margin is very low. It's really complicated to create a profitable business. And if you at the end of the day you work to give 1.5% of your turnover to Apple, I mean, so that's why it's I don't know. I don't think that the Bitcoin will change a lot of my business, but if it can drive and help me to drive more than 5-10% of my sale, yeah, that's great. And if you look the business, probably the money is the only thing that is not so much disrupted on internet, and the Bitcoin is a way to disrupt it. So let's say agile and let's say pragmatic, and that's why we wanted to implement Bitcoin.
So you welcome disruption to a certain extent.
Yep.
Michelle, back to you.
That kind of brings me to my next question, talking about welcoming disruption. What do you see as far as online shopping trends in the next few years? What should young people, I work with a lot of young people, the next whoever's, designers and things like that, what kind of things should they be looking to do you think?
Yeah, I think when you look, the first thing is when you look young people, it's like it seems that they are born with a mobile in the hand. So meaning that probably they are digital native and they will be only mobile, and that's why I think that the main distribution will be on retail shops, on connected shop, in order to create new experience in the retail industry, in the offline business, due to this aspect, due to the implementation on technology in the sale in shops, and especially for future generation, I think it's important to think mobile. This is the first thing. The second thing is the price proposition for me will be still very good insight for the consumer, because I don't really think that the money power for this young generation will be better. So that's why a lot of new model like the rental, exchanging products, selling at very discount price, fit much more with this kind of generation. Yeah.
Michelle, do you have any last questions before we have to go?
I was going to ask, I know you said, kind of the mission behind what you do is connecting brand to consumers for a lower price. How does that work with independent designers and what you do? Is that a tremendous resource for them as well?
Yeah, it's a little bit more different with little designer. As we strive to cater the needs of the digital mom, it leads us to propose a mass market offer, because those brands, the big brands, got overstock, and they need to find a way to sell unsold products and not in their shop. So that's why we act as a partner with them. On more, I would say, small company or designer, what they're looking for in our business is the visibility they can have. As we are roughly, we have between 1.5 and 2 million visitors a day. It could be something interesting, and we can act as a media for this brand. So this is the two part of the job, but for a small brand, they are much more interested by the visibility they can have.
That's awesome.
And just one last quickie. When do you think will be the tipping point where online sales account for more than physical bricks and mortar shops?
I'm not sure that online sale in fashion will do more than retail shop. I think that it will be much more mixed, and then you can buy your on internet and go in the shop, take your clothes, or you can go in the shop and see on the tablet more offer and then buy online. So I'm not sure that it's much more complementary than a competition between the two. But brands that understand that, I think they will win the game in the future, rather than considering the online business as competition. So Yeah, and so probably it will go till 25%. I mean, I think that 25-30% of the sale in the future in the clothes industry, fashion industry will be done online. And in Europe, in France, we are 7%, in UK 12%, something. So there is still room to grow. But yeah, I mean, it seems complicated to do more than 30% of sale in fashion, not in the other sector.
Okay, well, listen, enjoy what's going to be quite a busy period
Yep.
for online shopping. I should
Yeah,
imagine.
especially for Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas time.
And thank you very much
Thank you.
for taking the time to come and see
Thank
us
you.
here.
Thank you, Michel.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Once again, Michel. We're going to be back tomorrow for another series of Hangouts, the first of which is at 10 o'clock with Nicolas Brousson, who's the co-founder of BlaBlaCar.
He's a friend of mine.
A friend of Thierry's.
Yeah.
So it's wishing me a very happy afternoon to you, Michel, and a very happy evening to anybody in Europe. And we hope to catch up with you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.